Yesterday, I had fun sharing with you some of my travels in the Palestinian area, because this is where the whole story of ancient Israel unfolds. And if you go to Israel, it's very difficult to get into the Palestinian area. It's not difficult for me when I go in alone. I go in alone with two young Palestinian men who live in East Jerusalem. They're licensed by the state of Israel as licensed guides. And they are selected for me by an elderly gentleman that I know very well, who will tell me if it's safe to go in or not. I mean, he's very good, and he arranges for these two young men, and they rent a car in East Jerusalem, so it doesn't have Israeli plates, and they take me wherever I want to go. So these are there are 12 sessions in this course. And the second session is on geography. And I talked about geography and yesterday. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it today. So these are the sites that I took you to yesterday. I'm going to do a little bit more today. I'm going to take you today to Dotan. Fascinating site. This is where Joseph, when he went up to find his brothers, and they, put him in a pit, and he got taken down to Egypt. And that happened in this area of Dotan. I'll show you that, and I'll take you there. It's really kind of fun. And then I went to Samaria, which was it was the capital of the northern kingdom of Israel. It's a wonderful place to visit. It's in the Palestinian area. So you may or may not be able to go there, but let's have fun. Okay, first of all, I want to talk about the Samaritans, and it is possible to visit the area of the Samaritans. You remember that Shechem had Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim on two sides, and in the middle was today the Palestinian city of Nablus. The Samaritans were up on Mount Gerizim. They're still there up on Mount Gerizim. Half of them have moved to Tel Aviv, and half of them still live up in the Palestinian area on Mount Gerizim. And let me explain who the Samaritans are, and then I'll take you in to visit with the head Samaritan gentleman who met with us, which was really kind of interesting. We read in the Bible, this is after the Assyrians conquered the northern kingdom of Israel. They took most of the people into captivity, and then the whole idea was to move people around because they believed that the God was tied to the land. So the people of Israel left Israel, they left their God behind. Now, God said, I'm with you, that's in the Bible. Don't worry, I'm coming with you. But in the ancient world, they thought that if you left the land, you left your God. So the Assyrians brought other conquered people into what was northern Israel. And they, of course, were pagans. They were not Jews, they were pagans. So now we can look at the slide. They, meaning these pagans who had been moved into into northern Israel that had been conquered by the Assyrians, they did not fear the Lord because they didn't know the Lord. I mean, they didn't worship Adonai. Therefore, the Lord sent lions among them, which killed some of them. And I've got a picture here of, this is the Jordan Valley today. And it still has it's much smaller because its water's taken off for irrigation. It would have been much wider and wilder back in ancient Israel. But even today, there's this very thick undergrowth next to the Jordan River. And the lions back, even in the time of Yeshua, lions were living here. And the Romans were capturing lions from the Jordan River Valley, taking them to Rome to feed people to the lions. So this is what we hear about the Samaritans. And then we read again, the king of Assyria sent one of the priests, this would have been a Jewish priest that had been taken into captivity, one of the priests whom he carried away into exile, and let this priest teach them, the pagans that had been moved into northern Israel, teach them the custom of the God of the land, who was Adonai. But every nation, that nation means people, every people group still made gods of its own. So these are the Samaritans, and you can actually, it's not too hard to visit the Samaritans in the Palestinian area because that area is still controlled by the Israeli army. You get into other parts of the Palestinian area, it's not controlled by the Israeli army, and it's a little bit harder to travel there. Now, take a look. The Samaritans learned Judaism, but it was mixed in with some of the pagan cultures, but they still do the Passover sacrifice. And this is where they sacrifice the animals, and the canal is where the blood drains off at the time of Passover. I've never been there when they celebrated the Passover. It would be something to see, Passover celebrated by the Samaritans. The picture on the right shows the head of the Samaritan community who met personally with us. And this was during the time that I was learning Hebrew in Israel, and he did speak Hebrew, but my Hebrew wasn't that good. So we had a Palestinian guide that the two Palestinian girls that were in the school with me. This was before the 2000 Intifada, and I got to know them quite well. They invited me to come to Shem, which is where they lived. And I stayed with them, and they arranged for a friend of theirs to be my guide when we went into the Samaritan area, throughout this area in the north part of Israel at that time. And so he acted as a translator, because my Hebrew wasn't that good. He acted as a translator. So now let me show you what we have here. I'm going to take you to Dotan. Dotan is a wonderful archaeological site that I don't know anyone else who's been there, to tell you the truth. And you see, it's in the hill country. You can see the hill country. It's in the Palestinian area. This is that escarpment. So the hill country, it comes to the north, and it drops down in a very steep escarpment and into the Jezreel Valley. So you see to the north of that is the Jezreel Valley. So Dotan is very close to the northern edge of the Palestinian area, the northern edge of the hill country. Now, this is the trade route, and it's coming down through Capernaum and Megiddo. You can see that. So Yeshua in Capernaum was where he could really preach his gospel. And Megiddo is the pass that goes through a pass in the hill country down onto the coastal plain and down to Egypt. Now, there's another spur of the trade route that comes down, and there's another pass that comes up and passes right by Dotan. It goes by Samaria. That's why Samaria was there, and goes by Shem, and it was much less traveled. The main trade route would go down by the coast, much less traveled, but it was a branch of the trade route, and Dotan was on that trade route. Now, in this picture, I'm standing up on the tell of Dotan, which was a fairly high tell, and it was all, bramble bushes and everything. I was with George Sparks, and the two of us made our way up to the top of the tell, which wasn't easy. So I'm taking the picture looking down from the top of the tell into this huge, wide, beautiful valley. And this is why one of the reasons that Dotan was there. It was on the trade route, but it was also this very, very rich valley, which would have been cultivated in ancient times. Now, Dotan had a lot of excavation by Palestinians who dig up artifacts and put them onto the artifact market. And I know this through George Sparks, who's our archaeologist at Bible Interact. And these are some of the artifacts that have been dug up from Dotan. Very interesting. So now I'm going to take you from Dotan. We're going to go to Samaria. Samaria was the capital of the northern kingdom of Israel before they were taken into captivity by the Assyrians. Samaria, when you go to Samaria, it's a Roman site, because when the Romans came in, they built on top of what had been the ancient capital of Samaria. They built on top of it. So that's what you see is Roman ruins. I had with me the two Palestinian guides that were with me. One was a guide, one was a driver. They're both licensed by the state of Israel as guides. And of course, they speak Arabic, and we were in a car licensed from East Jerusalem, not from Israel. And so they came in, and they had been taught. Of course, they're licensed by the state of Israel, so they had taken courses there. But the Palestinian Authority had also taken them and really given them, information that that is not correct. So what they told me was, oh, this is not an ancient site of Israel. This is just a Roman site. The Romans built here. And I said, yes, the Romans did build here. But I had been to Samaria before, and I knew where to take them, and this is where I took them. There is still the remains, a very small part, the remains of the original Israeli wall that would have been the wall around the city of Samaria in the time of northern Israel. And then when we got back to the vehicle we were in, I pulled out my guidebook, and the guidebook explained how this was the first capital of the northern. Actually, it wasn't the first capital, but shortly after the first capital, it was built as the capital of the northern kingdom of Israel. And they knew they were wrong. They knew they had been given a pack of lies, and it was embarrassing for them. But it was also good to let them know that, hey, look, what you're being taught by the Palestinians is not necessarily correct. So we are promoting this online self-grading reinforcing course. Geography is only one of the lessons. There's all kinds of lessons in this course. It's really wonderful. When you finish it, you will be able to uncover depth of meaning just like we do. You can start at any time you want. You work at your own speed. All you need is a computer and a good internet connection. Every single one of the 12 sessions starts with a video lesson. After that, you're taught skills, and you will practice these skills. There are exercises for you to practice these skills so that when you finish the course, you have the skills to do all kinds of things that I do when I uncover depth of meaning from Scripture. Right now, we have, for a limited time, a 25% introductory discount. So instead of $125, which is the regular price for the course, it is only $94, and that's an introduction because this is a whole new program. So I encourage you to go to the website, BibleInteract.tv, and there you will find information on how to register for the course. And I trust you will really enjoy it, and I know you will be building these skills that you and I are going to be able to dialogue on an equal dialogue when you're done. So with that, I wish you shalom. Please subscribe to our channel to receive updates on our newest videos. Visit BibleInteract.tv for more in-depth video teachings, and keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter. Click on the links next to me to view more videos like this one, and become a donor on our Patreon page. Join us in uncovering the hidden meanings in Scripture.